Hello, thank you for joining Parkinson Voice Project for today's online Speak Out Home practice session. My name is Samantha Allendary. I'm a speech language pathologist and the founder of Parkinson Voice Project. I am here to help you establish and maintain a consistent Speak Out home practice routine. This week I've been sharing some compensatory strategies that might help you with your swallowing. So that is the topic. We're going to review the compensatory strategies that I shared with you this week. And I'm also going to, our final compensatory strategy is about choosing foods that are easier to manipulate, meaning cut and use with your utensils, and that are easier to chew and easier to swallow without necessarily feeling like you're missing out. So some things for you to think about. Like we do at the beginning of every session, let's smile. So I'm just going to hold my cup. You can hold your glass. Let's all give a nice smile with intent. Ready? Very good. Let's take a sip of water with intent and we'll get started. We'll do the speak out exercises and then we'll get into talking about swallowing. I hope you'll find this helpful. Let's go ahead and do the first speak out exercise. I want you to lift your voice and project it over your television. If you have a television where you can access the internet, I would love for you to figure out how you can get Parkinson Voice Project's website and do your exercises from the television. It will make it easier for you. Here we go. May, me, my, mo, moo. Every syllable with intent. Ready? May, me, my, mo, moo. Lift your voice and project it forward. May, me, my, mo, moo. Again. May, me, my, mo, moo. And one more. Let's stretch out the vowels just a little bit more. May, me, my, mo, moo. That took more intent. That's good. Let's take a sip of water with intent. Hopefully you've been paying more attention to the cups you're using, the water bottles you're using, and finding the best one where you feel like you have the most control when you're sipping on your water or other drinks. Let's move on to the ahs. Open your mouth wide and make that ah fly forward. Ready? Ah. Let's do another one. If your voice starts to get a little bit raspy halfway through, try to project out a little bit more. See if it clears up. Ready? Good. Let's do a shorter one. And one more. Good. Let's take a sip of water. Grab your cup or glass with intent and really think about it when you swallow. When you swallow, swallow with intent. That means be deliberate. The next speak out exercise, the glides. Project out an ah and slowly glide up. Ready? Ah. Ah. Good. We're being very deliberate, very mindful. Let's do it again. Even though you're going up and down, the sound is still in front of you. We're learning to project our voice forward instead of letting Parkinson's move it back there. Ready? For a lot of people, the lows are more challenging than going up. So we're going to start high and go down. And as you're going down, project the voice forward. Start high. Ah. One more. Start high. Ah. Good. Let's take a sip of water. Are you working hard? Hopefully you are participating in our chat. If you've never done that before, you'll see the box that says type in your nickname. Just type in your first name and where you're from. For our counting today, we're just going to count to 10 forward and backward. Repeat the number 10 when we get to it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Speak out now backward. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We're going to go ahead and do Dr. Boone's words now because I want to spend more time on talking about swallowing and food. So let's say each one twice with intent. Exaggerate the G's, the K's, and the NG's. Here we go. Gu, la, gun, ga, ga. Again. Gu, la, gun, ga, ga. And the next one. Ku, ka, man, gu, ka. Exaggerate. Ku, ka, man, gu, ka. Ready? Gangla, gangla. And the last one. Kukla, kukla. All right, take a sip of water. Our reading material is going to be the compensatory strategies I've shared with you all week. If you think these would be helpful to other people, please share this video with them. Let them know about these exercises, and you can also download our reading material with all of these tips, so that might be helpful for you. We post the reading material on our website. It stays there. We post 5 days at a time, and then it disappears. We're talking about using compensatory strategies to make our swallowing safer, and I am a strong proponent of compensatory strategies. Let's read these sentences with intent and really exaggerate the highlighted words. Here we go. You can improve your swallowing by employing compensatory strategies. Again, you can improve your swallowing by employing compensatory strategies. Next, be mindful when you are eating and drinking. When you're eating and drinking is normally an automatic behavior. With Parkinson's, we have to switch. We have to change it and be very intentional and mindful. Read the sentence again. Be mindful when you are eating and drinking. And here are our tips. Ready? Take only one pill at a time. Again, take only one pill at a time. I know it's frustrating, but if you're taking a handful of pills and going, gosh, I hope they all go down okay this time, let's stop, let's think about it, take one at a time. Next, read it with me with intent. Does taking pills with applesauce make it easier for you? That's a question. Make sure the pitch goes up. Let's read it again. Does taking pills with applesauce make it easier for you? It might. For some people, coordinating the pill with the thin liquid is more challenging. A lot of my patients use applesauce and maybe take some sips of water afterward. Seems to help them, so I wanted to share that with you. Next, let's read it together. Don't eat in front of the television. Again, don't eat in front of the television. Sit at a table. You will be able to concentrate better. The next one. Choose the best cups or bottles to drink from. I should have said glasses too, same thing. All right, let's read this again. Choose the best cups or bottles to drink from. It makes a difference. The lip on your glass or your cup will make a difference in terms of how much control you have. Using a large water bottle, using a straw, pick what is best for you. The next one we talked about yesterday. Place cues next to your plate to remind you to take small bites or chew with intent. Let's read it again. Place cues next to your plate to remind you to take small bites or chew with intent. And we talked about it yesterday. I do this for a lot of my patients. Sometimes I'll take this one and they'll use like a business card holder and put it in front of their plate. Now you might think, oh, this is crazy. Why do I need to have a cue to remind me to take small bites? Because swallowing is automatic. It's very hard to make this intentional. And it's not that you're forgetting it or anything like that. It's that swallowing, chewing is so automatic, we just eat without thinking about it. And so these cues can be very, very helpful. Now, the next one. Choose foods that are easier to manipulate, chew, and swallow. That's my tip for today. Let's read it again. Choose foods that are easier to manipulate, chew, and swallow. And let's move on to the conversation. Take a sip of water first. I'm going to give you lots of detail, lots of examples. But for our conversation, okay, when I say manipulate, I'm talking about using your fork and your knife or your hands to pick up something. I want you right now to think of some entrees or foods that are easier to manipulate, chew, and swallow. I'm not talking about pureed food, okay? Regular food that is easier to manipulate, chew, and swallow. Go ahead with intent. We're not going to have a bonus reading today because we're going to read these. I'm giving you lots of examples, and I hope this will help you to start thinking about it, okay? Now, if you're all by yourself and you have time to do that, you're not concerned about it. But when you're eating with other people, it's hard to concentrate on having a conversation and manipulating your food and chewing it and swallowing. So these are some options. Let's read these with intent. Meatloaf is easier than steak. It is. It's easier to manipulate with your fork, easier to chew. Next. Lasagna is easier than spaghetti and meatballs. Next. Fish is easier than chicken. I'm not telling you never to eat chicken, and if you do eat chicken, maybe putting some gravy on it would help to make it easier to chew and swallow. When you're out with friends and you want to have a conversation, maybe ordering the fish would be easier and make it possible for you to enjoy the company more. Read together. Mashed potatoes are easier than baked potatoes. I love baked potatoes. They do take more time to put the butter and the sour cream or whatever you're going to put on them. It's something to think about. Next, cereal with yogurt is easier than cereal with milk. It is. It's easier to manipulate, easier to chew, easier to swallow. I cannot eat granola or grape nuts. Those get caught in my throat. They get caught between my lips and my cheek. They get caught in my tonsils. I hate to say that. Not nice to think about. But if I mix them with yogurt instead of cereal, instead of the thin milk, I can control it better. I can chew them better and I can enjoy them. But having them with the yogurt makes a way for me to eat them safely. Here's another one. Creamed soups are easier than broth-based soups, especially if you have a tremor. That can be challenging. So are you thinking about that when you're ordering food at a restaurant or what you're eating? A creamed soup would be easier to manipulate, chew, and swallow. And my last tip, enchiladas are easier to eat than tacos. Let's read that together. Enchiladas are easier than tacos. I would love your feedback in the chat. Let me know if these tips were helpful to you this week. And if you want to send me an email at intent@parkinsonvoiceproject.org. I would love to hear the feedback from you. I want these sessions to be helpful to you. Besides strengthening our muscles and doing our speak out exercises, I want to help you in other ways. Thank you so much for joining me today. Speak, swallow, walk, do everything with intent this weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye-bye.